Okay, so the beauty of understanding how to store values or property values of an object in a variable is now I can do them with anything. So if I find myself dealing with checkboxes or radio boxes or progress bars or panels, any data that I'm dealing with, menus and toolbars, I can store just about anything I want in a variable now. Alright, so let me just show you what I mean. So when I click this button, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see if the checkbox student is checked. So I'm going to check to see if it's checked. Then I'm going to store that. So if you think about a checkbox is much like a Boolean value. It's either checked or not checked. So it's true or it's false. So if it is checked, the value of checked is true. If it's not checked, the value of checked is false. Ooh, and how much wood would a wood check if a wood check could check wood? Alright. Yeah, that was a bad uncle joke. Sorry about that. Hopefully it'll break up your day some. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first off, I'm going to dim BLN student as Boolean. And so what I'm doing is I'm creating a variable that, and I'm explicitly saying that it's a Boolean value because I know I'm only going to store true or false. Okay, so I could technically do this, but then the computer doesn't necessarily know what value is going to be held in here. So what I can do is I can just say as Boolean, and I know, and the computer knows, that it's only ever going to hold a Boolean. So what I can say now is I can say Boolean student equals true. And so now, as a programmer, when I find, if anywhere in my program I find that this value is true, then I know that the person has checked that box. Now, I can do the same thing with the I like DGT. So let's assume that I want to check that one too. And I can say if it's a radio likes DGT dot checked equals true, then I'm going to now create another variable here, dim BLN likes, if only I could spell, DGT as Boolean. Now, just so you know, the default value of a Boolean is false, but if you want to make that explicit as well, you can also say false. And so that way, if this isn't run or this one isn't run, you can assume that neither of them have been checked. So that will be Boolean likes DGT equals true. This is kind of redundant because, of course, you all love DGT, so I could actually just set that to true automatically. But anyways, and again, if I want, I can say dim string name equals txt first dot text, and that's going to now hold whatever value is in there when I click the button. What else did I do? Let's look at, I can actually grab the size as well. So I'm actually going to say dim x as integer, and I'm going to dim, yeah, right, and I'll do dim y as, it's not the best naming conventions, but I'm going to say x equals label output dot, I believe it's width, yep, and y equals LBL output dot height, and there's the height. So as you can see, I can actually store numbers, so that's the height and width of the label. I can take the text property of the string name, I can take the checked property. So as you can see, I can do some pretty cool things, and I can store. So now that I've got all these values from the user inputting stuff, I can do some pretty fun things with that information. So I can actually resize the LBL. So I can actually say label output dot width equals, let's say I'm going to add on 25 pixels to it, and LBL output dot height equals y plus 15. I'm going to then say, I'm going to take the label output dot text and set it equal to string name, and in fact I'm going to say hello string name. So I'm going to add in my own string. I'm going to say hello and string name, so that's going to say whatever is held in there, and I'm going to put in a message box, and it's going to say let's see, what can I put? I know, I'll just say likes DGT equals, and that's Boolean likes DGT. So anyways, let's have a look at this, and we'll just walk through this a little bit at a time here. So I know this video is getting long, I do apologize, but first off, so what's going to happen is, of course, I do like DGT. So what should happen when I click go? We're going to store whatever value is in here, store whatever value is in here. So technically this one should stay false, right? So BLN student will be false. This one, likes DGT, is true. I'm going to collect the string name, so Mr. Macri will be stored in here. The X and Y coordinates of this label will get stored in X and Y, and then we'll increase the width of this by 25 and the height by 15, and then we'll set the text property. It should say hello Mr. Macri, and finally a message box will appear. Let's just see what happens. Look at that, likes DGT equals true. That's this line here. This says hello Mr. Macri, and you'll notice it's actually shifted to the right because the width has changed. Oh, so as you can see, getting input from the user is actually quite easy, and all you have to do is store it in a variable. And when you're looking at specific properties of specific objects, you can actually specify what value, what data type, and what value you're going to store in these variables. How cool is that? Alright, go on to the next exercise, and hopefully this starts to make sense to you. It should start becoming fun very quickly.